way of comfort, the force that does it is usually Yirat Shamayim. Otherwise, you keep your confidence. You don't follow. Why not? What's wrong? I saw the sign outside. Looks kosher. I mean, but if you really medactic that what's causing you, and to say no, and maybe even though you like it, when I say no, your Yirat Shamayim will tell you no, and then you will look and exert yourself with time and effort to go forward, and Yirat Shamayim pushes you. That's a force. So Digdukei Mitzvah is equated to Yirat Shamayim. But some people are crazy. I mean, like a woman in her house cleans this to clean, respect. That's not Yirat Shamayim. That's a sickness. That's a person that's a perfectionist. That's not Yirat Shamayim. That's sickness. Yirat Shamayim means that the force that's pushing you is not the word cleanliness or clean or healthy. The force is the words of HaKadosh. Now, I want to talk about an interesting topic. At the bris of Goodman, so there's a fellow there named Emmanuel Quinn. I said a few words, spoke there. So there's an article here in Rabbi Zimmerman's book called Kerem, which I have a copy of. These copies years ago. He has Emmanuel Quinn, didn't have the word rabbi and doctor, just Emmanuel Quinn. Basically, this is Rabbi Zimmerman's. There's nothing in this book basically was done without in this book, nothing was done without his agreement in those days. Anyway, so basically this is Rabbi Zimmerman's ideas. Anyway, it goes as follows. Then what happened, I have this fellow by me called Ray, he's Filipino. So after he's working, he's cleaned up our place, and so I start talking to him. He's now revealing his secrets. What is his secret? That he has an organization called I Am Foundation.
I
am HaShem Is. And he really came to build since he's an engineer, he tried, he attempted twice to build a base on English. He wants to build a base. He's a poor guy, but he believed in JC, and now we got him convinced of JC's out, and now it's HaShem. HaShem, okay. So HaShem is I am. He has that foundation. He already has a piece of property of 10 dunams. He's already building he already has all the plans, a little based on English. He doesn't live in Philippines. He tried in Los Angeles, by the way. Speaking of Los Angeles, they're building on base measures there. Okay, then we come back. He doesn't hear. Long story.
He's not Jewish, right?
He's not Jewish. He doesn't want to be Jewish because he wants to have his ego trip among the non-Jews and make them believe in HaShem instead of Jesus. He found out a new way to preach and to do what he's doing. So I said to him, the words when you say I am is incorrect. That's not the way he translates. And the way he translates here is very good. I like it. I really wanted to print it out. I printed it out really 3 weeks ago, this piece, 2 weeks ago. And I never had a class, I never got it. Those copies I made, about 22 pages already, I don't know where they are. So at least I want to say the word. I wanted you to copy it because it's very interesting information. The word is HaShem Is, not I am. It explains why. I want to read it to you. Maybe somebody else should read it, it'll read better. Maybe someone will read it partially. Who would like to read it? Maybe you'll try to read it. Look, I'll tell you why.
Why?
I'll tell you why. You see, I speak all the time. But if you'll speak...
Yeah, but when I'm here, you make me speak.
No, but I'll tell you why. Because you hear yourself. I don't know if you hear me so much. I don't.
I hear you.
Okay, I don't. If you hear yourself and I can add to it, then it's here.
What have you do in Hebrew? You have
Look, good, but I got a lot of people to read it, but I gave you a chance.
Okay,
You should take the schus.
Oh, right.
The schus.
That's right.
I want to go over it, I want to explain it. It's very important, very interesting piece. See, if I had the copies out and everybody read inside, and I would read it, it's easier. But you got to read outside, I have to put that. Right.
The simple formula by Emmanuel B. Quinn. HaShem is. In the entire knowledge of the universe, this is the only true statement about which there can be no difference of opinion. The verb is, as it relates to HaShem, connotes a continuous existence, timeless, and boundless. The verb is, as it relates to Hashem, who connotes a uniqueness, a oneness, a changeless quality. I have intentionally omitted the word infinite since I think that the characteristic infinite is a limiting characteristic as it applies to Hashem. To say that Hashem will be is the same as saying that Hashem sits or sees or talks. The Torah speaks in the language of men. When the author of the hymn says, Vehu haya, Vehu hovei, Vehayu yeh, he was, he is, and he shall be, he too speaks in the language of men. Furthermore, the verb is can only relate to Hashem. For all other beings, the verb is misleading. The verb is, as it relates to any being besides Hashem, can only represent an interval of time that is infinitesimal, since all beings could only exist in the past and the future. The Midrash commentary on the scripture term "yeh," I will be, states that the threefold usage of the name albeit all in the future tense refers to Hashem existing in the past, the present, and the future. One tense, as it applies to Hashem, encompasses the three tenses are used by man.
We'll get other people to read further. But I want to explain it. This is a very important piece, by the way. It sounds like nothing, but Hashem is, because when we think of past, present, future, that's really in our terms, man's terms. And then we limit Hashem to past, present, and future. So if there's a past, and we say, every time when we say Hashem's name, we have to think he's Adon HaKol. We also say Hoya, Hova, V'yiyah. But because we have to know past, present, and future. Okay? Past, present, and future. But in reality, the only English words that we can talk about is, because the word is itself is past, present, and future. In no other terms. Infinite, he's right, by it is like a state of, it's like being or doing something. It's more physical. God is infinite, we are finite. That's also true. But it also gives a certain limitation, especially today. We talk about infinite. There's no such infinite in the entire world. They say, look, okay, the world goes beyond, but how far? Well, we have how many galaxies we're away. They talk about infinite already. They already measure the infinite. As far as man's life is concerned, it's infinite. This man would take a plane now, or a rocket ship, or some spaceship that would go to Mars, go to the end of it. Look at the man would just die off. So as far as man is concerned, it's like beyond man's dream. That's what we're talking about. So therefore, they make the terms in a more finite, definitive, quantitative term. And therefore, doesn't want to use it. I hold these right now. So we got to say Hashem is, which means at a good time, not I am or was, will be, but it really is. It's a past, present, future in one tense, and we can't separate it any part whatsoever. Simple. Now.
It's very interesting that there's an organization that started in Tel Aviv 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I think of young Israelis who are very, physically very, very strong. They started an organization called I Am. They believe they can live forever.
The I Am.
Yeah, it is called I Am.
I don't believe that.
And I met one in a particular situation, and they believe they're bodybuilders.
Yeah.
They're into incredible nutrition. They don't smoke. They don't use drugs. They believe tattooing is bad for their body, so they don't do that. They're only Jews, and they don't let anybody else in on this thing. And it's a really pretty scary thing. It's a really scary thing
because it's an ego part.
Yeah. It's very an amazing thing. It's called I Am.
I just want.
It's interesting. That's what's
I just want to.
You're
I really like to say a statement that basically the Chaim Volozhin in the third chapter, the third gate, chapter 13 and 14, explains the difference between Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and Moshe and Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, they said, off of Abraham, they're something, but very small. Yes. We are earth. We're something but earth. And Moshe said, Avak. Yeah. Even though it's compared to it, but with something. And that's all it's, they never got any further. And Moshe says, more what? So everybody thinks more means nothing. It's not really true. I won't explain what it means. But if people learn Bitul Yeshiva means who you are. That's not true. If God created you, you exist. You can't say you don't exist. You gotta say, you exist. No, of course you exist. But there are two parts. Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov were involved between man and God and man. And Moshe Rabbeinu was involved with Klal Yisrael, the Jewish nation. That's evil. And therefore, the individual in a unit is different than the individual alone. The individual with his wife, with himself, with his family, is the individual unit. When you talk, with themselves. When you talk about Moshe Rabbeinu, he is the one making the Jewish nation, which is the unit, and he that's what he needs, the midos of honor. Honor means humility, that he's able to be away, and according to the Rambam, that's the middle road, is one of the midos of the middle road, the golden middle is anivus, is humility, and therefore he can hold all the proper midos in the right balance, and therefore he's able to handle the different types of people, the 7 types of people that comprise in the Jewish nation. So therefore, Moshe Rabbeinu had a particular quality that was able to handle the tzibur, the unit. And therefore, so we got to translate the word ma, I'm going to explain to me, he reached the, Adam, Adam we call Adam, means he reached the limits that a human being can reach in anivus, in his humility of what it is. He reached his maximum that a man can reach, and nobody can reach like Moshe. The only 3 people that will ever be like Moshe, according to Chai Balashim, is Adam Harishon. It's called Adam Harishon, and Moshe. It's called Adam, and David, the Mashiach ben David. They will have those qualities. Nobody else can. Okay. So therefore, as far as man is concerned, man can reach tremendous heights, and everybody has to work hard to reach the highest heights. And part of the heights is the tzibur aspect of the person. Now, women are involved basically not only with themselves, they're involved out of themselves maybe. Their family, their husband, they're serving their husband, serving their family. They're involved, their husbands. In other words, like not themselves, they see their child growing. So it's through the child they get their nachas. Although a woman herself can be a writer, a lawyer, doing things, but basically the nature is through behind the scenes that is happening. And therefore, for a woman it's much easier that she loses herself. You talk about love and feeling like love is like you lose yourself, you integrate with another person, like existentialism somewhere. You extend yourself beyond yourself. So women have much an easier position than men in this type of way. But the man is more himself, woman is not. And therefore, it's more understandable. But to say you're nothing totally, this we don't hear. The word shmata and zero doesn't exist. Because everybody, again, is created in the image of God. The image of God, by definition, means, and I explained to you, I'll explain again, that through Avinu, he figured out the 613 mitzvahs. But that was nothing. That wasn't one of his 10 tests. The 10 tests that he had was, in the Tzelem Elokim Be'elokusti, the godliness in him, and the unlimited part of chesed, kindness, is what is there. And a woman is involved in places where there are not many rules, chesed, kindness, emotion, which goes beyond the normal, what's right and wrong, is very hard. Right and wrong, because you're in a place that's scary. There's no basic, kind, everybody's kind, right? But when nice, this case, that case, it's very difficult. And you're in very scary areas of rights and wrongs. Imagine being Rivka, and she's now involved with, should she push her son, Yaakov, to get the brachas from Yitzchak. And she knows that if she does wrong, she will be out of the picture. And the son, what does she do? That's in and out, that's right. Imagine what a husband would do if, let's say, if he didn't accept it. I mean, like she's going against his will. against his desire. When a woman who's not following the ways of her husband, it's a very hard position.
Why didn't she ask a Shiloh like she did
By
babies? Just because there wasn't time, or is it a place where she has to make her own decision?
but the answer is, I answer something. She knew clearly what was.
Because she was because of the
Because she knew, but when she knew also.
If you have Nevuah, that's easy.
No, not so easy.
It's very easy.
No. I answered that, but I didn't want to answer it right away. But I would rather say that she knew clearly that the future of the husband's will of bringing God into the world was through she had empirical understanding and knowledge. Or Bini Yisera is through Yaakov and Esau. She knew clearly.
Did you say that a person?
Empirical, she knew from facts, from seeing, understanding. That's the Bini Yisera. It's like an intuitive understanding, and she knew. But this wasn't it's not a magical thing, Bina. When you're trained in any field, so you see it.
So you know.
You know.
So
it's not a game story.
Like when she and Sarah had Nevuah, and Hashem said, "Listen to the voice." Is that really they had the knowledge anyway? I mean, they really knew. It's not just that Hashem gave Nevuah to this like empty vessel. It's like really, if it didn't have the Nevuah,
but
they
had to have
anyway.
the name called Nevuah to it. You see,
But it's also
you don't say
Nevuah,
Chochmah,
right.
you don't say Bina, you say Nevuah.
It's Nevuah.
No.
But because maybe they reached the limits of their Bina and Chachma, so then Hashem added Nevuah. But I'm saying
exactly that.
But they did
But
work
they added a
themselves.
dimension that she knew beyond herself that this is right, and God said to her.
And then God.
No, she got the feeling or the understanding. That's 100%. First, the mind dictated, and she knew it. But knowing is not enough, because we know today one thing, and acceptance and surety of knowledge, we know is sometimes the worst thing, because we don't go beyond and check it out again, and therefore it causes us to fall into pitfalls. And our job is to, although we have certainty and know, it's to check it again to make sure and to get more values in order to go ahead another dimension which is needed. So Nevuah will add that other dimension that is needed. Anyway, I want to read what it says here. He has so many good points here. I don't have the book. Anyway, he makes a formula. This is when you see the formula a little bit. It's an important formula. We got a little short. Here's a formula he writes down. Rabbi Zimmerman always looking for formulas. And I want to explain what U is universe. T stands for Torah. But the big T there is for Torah before the world was created.
Which is
The big T. I don't know if I wrote it right here. T is Torah. So this is the T along there is before the Torah. I should make this a small T. Right? Okay. Good. M is mitzvahs, and T is the physical world. Physical world. Universe. Now, let's say mitzvahs, Torah turns to 0. So this all together, your times together. 5 times 0 is what?
0.
So what's left? Universe plus Torah before the world. The world stands on Torah mitzvah. And the physical universe stands on Torah mitzvah. No matter, you have to fit away 20, 50, 100, make no difference. But if Torah mitzvahs are 0, T is physical world.
Why is it 0?
Huh?
Why is it 0?
If it would ever will be, the world gets destroyed. What does the Chazal say? It's a very interesting thing. Chazal say if there's no Torah, the world will be destroyed. No Torah mitzvah, the world is destroyed. It's a real thing. We don't realize our special role that we play. And we should be proud of that special role. We have to feel it, know it, and appreciate it. The special role we play in the universe, in the way, among ourselves, reward and punish in the next world, Klal Yisrael, and the whole world together. And therefore, everything we do, you have to check it over like a bug. You have to look with a magnifying glass. You have to look your actions. Because if your actions, we explain another step. I explained to you then. When the Jews were taken out of Egypt, so This week's Sedra, Bo said that the name Shakai, or the name Yud Kei Vav Kei, I did not reveal to Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. So what do you mean? They revealed it. So they say that, although he promised his promises, but they never saw it happen. Okay, now, so when Jews come out of Egypt, so they saw that what they promised happened. I mean, so what if you saw didn't see? So what's the difference? And they would have a Havmin that the Almighty won't keep His word. So it's explained in this way, that God doesn't have to prove Himself to us. What happened was, when He took us out of Egypt, we then got called mitzvahs. Mitzvahs for us is the way in which we put the holiness and the concept of the Almighty into our being, that we connect ourselves to the Almighty. There's no other way to connect. And that for us makes it Magusham, becomes more real. Until that time, we didn't have any mitzvahs. There was no mitzvahs for the Jews until the Jewish people in Egypt becoming a nation. When they became a nation, we got the first mitzvah basically in Egypt, which has to do with the Tzibur, the unity of, which is the Chodesh Elochem, the new moon, which is the Bezdin. The Bezdin of the rabbis that needed which is the Tzibur, the unity. Then you have the mitzvah of Korban Pesach, which is, again, units themselves, family units, they can't leave the house, etc. Anyone who doesn't be part of the Korban is like ostracized, cut off from the Jewish people. People who eat chametz are ostracized as the unit of the Jewish people. They get covered. And that way, we have the mitzvahs have to do with what? Bringing the reality of understanding that when God says yes, you're not going to see it. So you take those things and you implant it in your heart and connect. How do you connect with mitzvahs? Which is a paradox. How does it work? But that's how it works. And therefore, for us, mitzvahs are very important. Asher Kiddushan Mitzvah Tzivonu. It's Kedusha. It gives us holiness. It elevates us. It makes us holy. Not eating bugs. Why don't we eat bugs? Because we're holy. Not dirt or ugly or bad. If you're holy, you have to elevate yourself spiritually. And that's what it's all about, education of children. So it's holy. Holiness, holiness, holiness. And therefore, the mitzvahs elevate us, and the Torah elevates us. So we don't have that elevation. What's the purpose of the world? What's the purpose of ourselves? And then the world goes back. And therefore, it gives it's an interesting, it gives us the perspective. It goes through the interesting part of not a book, no, this is a journal. You see, Rabbi Zimon years ago, had all these ideas, was he had Torah and the scientists. This is called Halacha and the Foundations of Judaism. He worked very hard because you understand, these days we don't have these problems. In my days, in my father's days, people came from religious homes and they threw away your yoke of religion. They said, look, we're modern people, science, and Torah is just superstitious and mysticism, and they threw it away, right? And the belief was just not there. So they had to reinforce to show you that the religion is rational, and it's rational choice, and it has a lot of thoughts in it, and it's deep philosophical ideas. You see? Today's world is not that way. We don't have those problems, basically. Philosophy, in course of philosophy university is almost zilch. Who takes a philosophy course? No, it's not a serious course.
It doesn't make money.
Okay, exactly. Sociology, even sociology is not such a big course. Psychology a little bit. Today is psychology. The main thing is, like you said, what tachlis, you're an engineer, that's it. So therefore these problems, we don't have the same problem. I can say to people, I believe people come from a monkey. Big deal. I say I believe people come from a monkey. Doesn't excite. I say the earth is not the center of the world. Big deal. It is the center, not the center. It doesn't mean anything to us. A man comes from a monkey, yeah, it doesn't affect. Well, how the world created 1,000 years when it has no focus and meaning to our lives. It doesn't.
People that were coming and just began Yeshiva, we looked for something very different. They were looking for MS.
That's right.
And now they're looking for purpose and how I can make money.
That's right. So how to enjoy life. Let me put it, how to enjoy life. Happiness in life.
Is this Yeridas Hadorah?
Expansion of happiness. What?
Is it Yeridas Hadorah?
Yeridas Hadorah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there are a lot of people in Yeshiva that say,
Yeah, but it's for a different tshuva for what? Because their lives are broken, marriages are no good, children are going the wrong way, they're empty, so they're searching now. I tell you what I want to say, I was in China. If I just opened up, before I got into China, wouldn't let me in. They wouldn't let me in twice. I went twice because I was a rabbi. I had a sign in China. Also, one time when I wanted to go to Mexico, 35 years, they wouldn't let me in because I was a rabbi. I had to go through Cuba to get to Mexico because I was a rabbi. That's it. There goes church and state, so, but they wouldn't let me in Mexico. Why? And I'll tell you why. They're really afraid. They're not afraid of a priest, but people are empty, searching. If I would want to publicize about, I would grab today 100 million Chinese. I can pull them to be Jewish. That's right. They are empty people, and that's right. It is a vacuum there because the Chinese got rid of idol worship totally. They made fun of it, and what do the kids got left? Nothing. So now Americanism is creeping in. Like in Russia, you'll see that you go to Moscow. It was in Moscow. You took a little picture in the area. You'll think you're in New York City somewhere, some little city somewhere. Los Angeles, and that's right. It's not already. It's already. And you go to China now in these big cities, you'll see already. You feel already America's creeping in. And they know what the lust, the desire, and spirituality is that when people are searching for spiritual. I was there. I was involved with a group that wanted to get rid of the Chinese Communist government. A long story. These people, whatever it was, and they're looking also for values. Really? They're searching people, and it's empty. So we have a lot to offer. We're not doing religion because I'm not empty. We're chosen. We have a lot to give to the world, and you have a lot to give, a lot to do, and you have to be proud of it. And we have to be proud of our holidays and proud of our Torah, and we have a special role. And women have a special role. And you got to get your fulfillment.
What's your definition of the word religion?
Religion?
As you know,
I just say Ratzon HaShem.
it's a totally different way of people looking.
That's what's so doing God.
It's a great difference. No, it's great. Because I have a real problem with the word English. I have a real problem. Thanks. That's right. Oh, Dr. Miller.
What time we got around? What time?
6. So
Okay, just 1 minute. Give it. I don't
There
know.
used to be a teacher here, a young teacher, was a religious woman, and she got here, I don't know, those years. And one time she said to me, I can't wait, it was going to be Pesach or something, one of the big holidays. I said, because she's going to get more Kedusha. Like, that's how she looked at it, like more Kedusha.
She's right, but the real truth is, Shabbos came all of Habo. Shabbos what? It's like one of the tricks of the people is, if you bring people over to your house on Shabbos, and they say, wow, wonderful spirit, because the Shabbos does, you don't do it. The Shabbos, the holiness of Shabbos does its own job. And it works. But there's a lot of things that are holy. Mitzvahs are holy. But I put my money down. She doesn't know what holiness means. It's not like it feels, it's not singing. It's not, there's really a very spiritual thing. Most people have hard to touch. And they brought down in the books that maybe the men go to the mikveh so they feel a little better Shabbos. It's not because you're clean. What do you feel? How do you feel? Do you feel different? Somebody says the chunt is different, the filter fish is different. Okay, it is true. It is true, but your soul has to feel it. Either you have the soul, don't have the soul. You can't do anything more than that. But that woman that mentioned it, she's right in one way. Because she works for Pesach. She cleans the house. So she did something. When you put out, you see, Kedusha is also, it's not just a happening. When you do something in a right way, so you feel good about it. You feel good about it. But I don't know if that's the same equation with Kedusha. Maybe she did some other good deeds. I'm thinking she's doing something right also. She feels good. I don't know what she means. Anyway. Any other questions? Okay, girls. I have an elevated Tu B'Shvat. Make sure you do it. Don't because of the bugs, don't do it. They say therefore you putter from it. But just do it the right way. That's it. I'm not going to come.